The camera comes up as we see two heads ducking into a rental cab, just very quickly, and the brake lights turn off and the car starts pulling away, and we see Krill coming out of a door.
Of all nights to leave me alone with this Karen. All nights. Sugar, can you go get the codex in the bush over there? As one of her little drones lift up from her dress, looking like a brooch flying over. She stands in the doorframe thinking, well, without Karen, how the fuck am I going to draw attention? Period. I don't know if I'm alluring enough. I don't know if I stand out enough. All I know is I don't want to be here alone. Ugh. As Sugar comes back, dropping the codex in her palm, she slips it into a little clutch on her side. I wonder if we can play with some features. Something to make us stand out a little bit more. And from her perspective, holographic menus start appearing in her eyes. She starts playing with sliders and colors. Eyes. Unnaturally bright yellow and golden. Skin tone. Well, that'll take a while to affect. Maybe that'll be interesting. She sets the skin tone to a almost entirely white, slight pale blue on the GVA spectrum. That'll take like an hour to fully set in. That might be interesting. Tattoos, like fish scales for her hands and her chin ridge. Again, those will take the same time to set in. Might draw attention for her, though. Might be helpful. She takes in a deep breath, walking back to the bar. Her drink she had specifically asked to be taken away while she walked, but even to be certain, she turns her internal drug tolerance as high as possible. No one gets the better hand of her tonight. Each step clicking of her new boots. She walks through the main pavilion, eyeing up every individual there. Her now yellow eyes, scanning them, watching them over. Her new bright sea foam and teal hair shimmering and curling over her back. She tries her best to walk like Karen does. One foot in front of the other, a sachet to her hips. Admittedly, she does watch a little more than one should. So, hopefully she can recreate it well enough. It's in these moments, Krill's thinking, why do I know how Karen walks? Why does this matter to me? Why have I paid attention? No matter. Today is not the day to worry about human trifles and why we care about said human trifles. Tonight is the game. Keep the face on. She struts down the main pavilion back to the bar. She grabs her cocktail that has been waiting for her, taking a sip, knowing full rightly this is doing nothing to her. With her tolerance as high as it is, that it's affecting alcohol as well. But maybe it might be a welcoming card for others. She sits on a circle stool, observing the crowd. She looks for anybody of stature standing out. Now she knows Gavin Bayet is a wealthy man with an entourage, more than likely. But that is all the information she has on him. No visual. Can I make a perception check to see anybody who's got private tables or sections off for them?
No, you can't.
How come?
Because there's no such thing as perception in Fate.
Can I roll an investigation check?
You can do a notice or an investigate.
God damn it, I feel called out there pretty bad. Was it D&D I played last? It may have been D&D I played last. Alright, I'm gonna say investigate, mainly because I'm looking for key details here, not just an overall span. That's a total of 3. Oh wait, no, it's a total of 2. Pardon me.
And just out of curiosity, who is on comms, who is off of comms?
I must be on comms.
Patty's at the base if anybody needs to talk to her.
Do we have a running comm going between anybody? Is anybody running open comms? Really, what I should be asking, Karen and Krill, are either or both of you running open comms?
Krill should be.
Okay.
I can't speak for Karen.
Karen's running open comms as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, out of the two of you, are you both like, okay, we'll start with Patty. Patty, are you monitoring comms?
I mean, she just finished it, or like she just was focusing on something for a second, so she would just be jumping in now probably, but not really has been there for the last few minutes.
Okay. Troy.
So she'll just send a message in like Krill's viewer, just like thumbs up ?
Troy, are you monitoring comms?
Troy is always monitoring comms
Cool.
in this current situation.
Cool. All right. Then with a 2, there are definitely give me a lore roll.
Oh, please, dice gods. That's a total of 2. I will take a +2.
From what you've been able to observe from humans thus far, from movies, TV, and the world, you do understand sort of how power works in a restaurant setting. You've seen some gangster movies. You understand how people position themselves in booths and in a back corner looking out towards a door sort of situation. So you relatively quickly clock a party of 5 in the back corner booth.
All right. Can I get with her special eyes, can I get a better description of the individuals there? Girl knows at least 3 men, 1 woman to be generally looking out for. Yes, I know.
That's the most cursed gif. Fucking A. There are 3 men and 2 women in that back corner. Have you reviewed or were you paying attention to any, like, are you aware of Karen's meeting at the last time she was here?
She is aware of it as a secondhand note. It was not recorded, and Krill did not visually perceive it.
Okay. Then
However, though,
you have one gentleman who is in sort of a bog standard black suit. It is not well tailored. It is entirely too tight on him, not because he's fat, but because he's muscular. There's two gentlemen. The other two gentlemen seem to have more upper crust tastes. One of them is in fact wearing an ascot. So you're looking at more bespoke clothing on the other two men. One of the women is wearing a frilly sort of avant-garde number. And the other one, if I had to describe her appearance in 2 words, it would be middle management.
what I know was recorded was the mission going into their building, their like actual shipping space office.
Mm-hmm.
Can Krill compare that footage to any of the people sitting there?
Yes. None of them match.
Not even our bespoke manager of the building?
Nope.
Yeah, okay. Taking a shot, Krill goes on a celebrity watch list website and puts in Gavin Bayette. Does any images or footage show up?
Give me a roll.
Okay. That is a 0 on the die. I don't know what I was rolling plus.
Gavin is not a celebrity.
Okay, he's more economy class kind of situation.
Yeah.
Krill silently sends a message to Karen. I need a description of this man, or we may be fucked.
Depending on what I'm doing, I would reply with a description of him.
I will tell you for the purposes of what is actually occurring in your life right now, that would not be a ready reply.
Figured.
Yeah.
That was my guess too.
Yes. Your world is a little chaotic at the moment.
Krill spins around on her chair and goes, think like Karen. Think like Karen. Think like Karen.
Since Troy's monitoring comms,
Okay.
can I say that Troy has brought up a few searches of keywords for Gavin Bayette and tried to find whatever images may be available on the internet of him, profiles, social media, stuff like that?
Yes. Given Troy's more expansive capabilities in this area and not being under pressure and being off-site, I'll let you just narratively do that.
All right.
Yeah.
Troy doesn't have a whole hell of a lot of familiarity with Karen's mission. She's been kind of secretive about details, especially around him. So he does know that Karen has an interest in someone named Gavin Boyette, and he is associated with something that... Did I say Boyette?
You did.
Fuck.
You
Bayette.
literally. Patty will be like, "Hey, Troy, Kevin Bayette, not Boyette."
My audio processors must be malfunctioning.
It happens.
Boyette was was the gas station I used to work at. Gavin Bayette. Not right now. Gavin Bayette. And business profiles, social media, keywords that mention him somewhere online that may have an association with an image somewhere. That's what Troy's searching up, and he's scouring the internet, and he's got like several tabs going on in his little personal browser inside of his head going on, and he's he's basically just scraping whatever the hell he can and then filtering it himself for anything that would seem relevant.
As he's doing that, Patty's just like, can I just get a picture of him? And as soon as she gets that picture, she'll just send it to Krill while Troy's doing his thing.
Troy was already gonna, like, as soon as Troy has a picture, he's sending it to Krill.
I was making sure he wasn't too distracted.
I think it's more he's trying to filter out any potential similar names that may be coming up, and he's trying to get an overlapping assurance on that is what he needs.
So, you receive a picture of a man in his early 40s with sharp angular features, sort of pale and wiry. The eyes have sort of these perpetual shadows. He seems to be a very high-stress individual, but the person whose picture you receive matches that of the person in the corner wearing the ascot. The picture doesn't quite do him a lot of justice. He does seem more relaxed and a little more well-rested as you see him in the corner.
Okay. Think like Karen. Think like Karen. Think like Karen. Krill turns to the bartender. Hello there. I want to have what that gentleman over there is having, the two of them.
That gentleman over there is having a private reserve bottle that is not available for purchase.
Uh-huh. She turns in her chair. Think more like Karen. Somehow.
Patty's just like going to be in her ear. Just order a fucking drink. Don't overthink it.
I have a drink. Already.
Okay, you have a drink. Don't overthink it.
As Patty is open comms with Krill, having this conversation, there is a loud "dush, dush, 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 dush" on the garage door.
All right, muting that and sending a quick message. Troy, keep an eye on comms. I'm checking that out. And she gets up. She's got her hand on her pistol as the garage door's opening. She's going to check it out.
There is a somewhat familiar, lovable lug of a meathead standing there with his codex out. And he just looks at you and looks down to the codex and looks at you and goes, 1,000 creds.
Or, Requiem?
Yeah.
All right. And she just sends over the creds.
That was easy. Have a good one.
Yeah, no problem. What's your name, man?
Nah.
Fair enough.
Anyway.
Just sends another message. Cred said to Requiem, meathead fucking opened our garage. Gotta figure out how to lock that. Yeah, just switches back over
So
in that moment. Goes back to his seat.
as the garage door comes down again, we see a car, the interior of a car, with a slightly unshaven, nervous looking, sort of glancing occasionally over his shoulder, Ethan, and Karen. How are you reacting in this situation, having been sort of extricated unexpectedly?
Karen is being Karen. It's not that disturbing for her to have somebody whisk her away all of a sudden. Mostly just curious what is wrong with Ethan. Paying attention to him.
Ethan seems mildly paranoid. He's glancing around a lot. He's glancing out windows. He seems to be checking for a tail.
Expecting someone?
Should always expect somebody, but hopefully I don't have anybody following me. And I don't think... is anybody following you?
Yeah, probably.
You see him, visually get nervous at that comment.
Oh, they're mostly friends.
Oh, mostly?
I mean, as much as you can call anyone a friend.
Oh, all right, fair enough. Okay, so I might have stumbled onto like a thing, and no, you know what? No, we're not going to talk about that in here. Yeah, we'll wait until we get back to my place. Oh, we're going to my place first. Well, we're going down the street from my place first. Either way, we're going to swing by my place first, then we'll swing by where we need to swing by, and I need your help.
And I'm going to help you because?
Because deep down, you're a good person.
Sorry. What?
Oh, it was worth a shot. Can't blame a boy for trying.
At least you got a smile out of me.
I mean, would you like to potentially disrupt a global power network?
Now there you have me. Yes.
Okay. You may get assassinated.
Cool.
All right. The car pulls up to a corner, and he hops out.
Karen follows.
He walks down an alleyway and turns a corner and like reaches up and grabs a sort of firewall ladder. Right, we've got an escape system here, and he pulls down a metal ladder and just as it hits the ground, and he starts climbing up to the next level, and there's just the escape paths up to an apartment. He's taking the outside route of the fire escape up the side of this building.
Quick question. I do still have my comms. Is this going to be an issue?
Yes.
Can I unplug the battery? Will that be fine?
Yeah, it should work.
Karen pulls it out, sees the message, and pulls out the battery.
Come on up.
Follows.
So he goes up, climbs seven floors. I mean, once you're up the ladder, it's stairs at least, you know. But it is metal rung stairs. It isn't the best way to climb the side of a building, but it is a bit of a hike, especially for someone in heels. So, yeah, give me a roll, actually.
-2. Oof.
At one point, one of your heels gets stuck in one of the holes, in one of the like grate holes that the sort of the staircases have on them.
Karen tries to have it retract, and it just jams further.
You coming?
My shoe is stuck.
Well, just take it off.
You better be replacing them.
I mean, yeah, I have shoes.
We'll talk about this later. Karen takes off the shoe.
So you get up to the 7th floor and you get outside an apartment window, and he goes up to the apartment window, and you see he very carefully, like, he goes down into the bottom corner, and give me an investigation roll.
+2.
He is he's got a fine piece of fiber that he is, like, sort of detaching from the corner of the window. And then he slides the window open and sort of one leg through, climbs through, and reaches his hand out to help you through the window.
Karen takes it and steps inside.
So you go inside, and it's a fairly sparsely appointed apartment. This is definitely the apartment of somebody whose job matters more to them than the accoutrements of living sort of situation. The first thing that strikes you probably is the full-on Pepe Silva board. I mean, red yarn and everything. It is a full-on Pepe Silva board. There are beer bottles and coffee cups and to-go food containers scattered on various surfaces, except one. There's a desk sort of next to the whiteboard, and that seems to be his writing area, and it is actually fairly clean. There are papers scattered all over it, but there is no food or drink on that writing surface. Anything you want to pay attention to in particular? Anything you want to do?
Is there anything that stands out in the Pepe Silva board?
Give me a roll. There's a lot of stuff on there.
-1.
Do you have anything in? Okay, so you have a 1. There's what seems to be going on this board is a very convoluted corporate structure. There are names of companies and subsidiaries and holding groups, and he's got them arranged in a very sort of specific corporate web. And to the side, he's got an area labeled example of money flow. And you see some of the names from some of this web in this sort of stepped process.
Okay. Any of the names look familiar?
A to B transport.
Ah. Huh. Recognize a couple of these names here.
Do you wanna spend a little more time paying attention to this board? You wanna get invested in this board?
Yeah. Yeah, a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Upon further, deeper, like, Karen focusing and paying attention, Ethan is watching Karen actually do this. So you notice that there are a few names on this board, and above all of them, you see this. You see he's drawn this, like, big circle around everything, and you've got Global Nexus Holdings. And next to Global Nexus Holdings, you've got a line shooting off of it and a question mark. Who owns? under that, inside this circle, you've got A to B Transport, you've got Helios Investments, you've got North Sea Holdings. Under Helios Investments, you've got Orion Ventures, Solstice Energy, Zephyr Real Estate, Aegis Banking, Stellar Securities, Nexus Insurance. Get fucked, note takers. Shooting off of, like, you sort of got like these question marks on these lines, shooting off of some of these companies, and you see like off of Orion Ventures, there's a line linking to A to B Transport, and there's a company name called Loginet Solutions. Then you've got Zephyr Real Estate and A to B and Aegis. Draw 3 lines coming off of them onto Trans Global Shipping. You've got Solstice Energy and Nexus Insurance shot off to Evergreen Holdings. You've got Stellar Securities and Orion Ventures shooting off to Altair Pharmaceuticals. You've got Trans Global Shipping and Helios shooting off to Omnitrade Exports. Then you've got Aegis and a line directly over to Echo Enterprises with a question mark next to it, Shell. You've got a company called Phantom Services that seems to be linked to a bunch of these companies that says consultant, question mark. And then you've got a company that says Shadow Holdings, and it literally is just circled with question marks all around it.
Anything else around the Phantom Services?
You see next to this the web, he's got this example of money flow, and you spot Phantom Services in the money flow. So it basically he's got a pathway laid out. A to B, funds for logistics services. Then you see the funds with an arrow drawn to Trans Global Shipping, freight charges. Then you've got a line from Trans Global Shipping drawn over to Omnitrade Exports, goods. You've got a line from Omnitrade drawn over to Evergreen Holdings. Agricultural? Question mark. At Evergreen, over to Stellar Security. Investment management, he's got that in quotations, and a line drawn from Stellar Securities to Phantom Services, consulting fees, question mark, and then a line from Phantom Services to Global Nexus Holdings.
This has some potential for some really interesting corporate oversight.
So, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
I think maybe. I'm seeing what you have here.
We need to figure out who owns Global Nexus Holdings.
Okay.
I think I know where to start. I can do this, but what I can't do is what I saw you do last week.
The people part.
Yeah, the people part. They don't like talking to me as much as, well, someone like you.
Who?
I want to start by breaking into A to B. We need access to their corporate records. Ideally, director of business, accounting department, somebody in that territory. We need access to their records. If we get lucky, maybe we find a certificate of holding for one or any of these companies. If we can find a paper trail that ties A to B to the ownership of any of these, then we can start closing the loop.
So you would expect some kind of certificate of another business at A2B.
I mean, maybe they're sloppy, maybe they aren't, maybe we find something else entirely. But if we can prove that Gavin / A to B is actually a on paper owner of Global Nexus Holdings, then we can close the money trail loop and show that it's essentially money laundering from the top to the bottom. Why they're laundering money, I don't know. I think I know, but I don't know.
What do you think it is?
I think North Sea Holdings is the linchpin.
North Sea Holdings?
Everyone else in this seems to be a real company, a front company, or a paper company. North Sea is a mystery.
Okay. Now, this happens to be something I'm interested in anyway. They already know my face. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but they do.
Well, we don't have to break into A to B while they're there.
Okay.
I don't know what you or your team or your people or people you know. I don't know what I need to know yet. What are you capable of? Because you're clearly a con artist. I'm sorry, but I've met a few over the years. So, do you have like a hitter? Do you have like a break-in specialist? Like, do you have anybody you can call or on team? Because we just need to get into A to B and toss the place.
Actually, might know someone that would be good at that, yes.
If we can find any evidence of A to B's involvement in this structure as far as actual ownership of subsidiaries or front companies or payment invoices to any of the questionable groups, then we can start to close this loop and I can start to prove who the players are.
They'll need this information. Like, this?
Yes. I think what we're dealing with is a global smuggling ring.
That fits in line with my suspicions as well. Huh. Okay. If I can give my friend the information they need to look for, they need to keep an eye out for, I think I can have them help out with that.
Okay, well, no electronic devices, but here. He hands you a notepad and a pen. He says you can take notes with you.
Okay. Karen starts writing down the businesses, starting with A to B and its connections.
While Karen starts scribbling on the notepad, we cut back to Cetabello. What is Krill doing? You are muted.
Thank you. Krill is pinching the bridge of her nose as she's thinking, this is not my specialty. Give me a place I can break into it. Give me a scrap of components I can turn to a bomb. Give me a silent moment and I will find out what someone is thinking by literally checking their health. But no, this. Oh boy. Krill wipes her hand across her face and smiles, taking her drink, standing up and walking heel to toe, all the way over to that corner. Leaning over, keeping a distance away so that no one has to feel like they need to physically get in her way. She looks over to the man in the ascot. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I seem to be left without my friend. And I believe you were the person we were hoping to run into tonight.
Give me a roll.
Mr. Gavin Bayette?
Give me a roll.
That's a toll. that's what the stress is doing to me. That's a +0 on the die.
Give me... I'm going to invert these rolls. Give me another roll.
+2?
Okay. As you are walking up, you hear the woman in the middle manager, sort of just gray and slacks and just that sort of thing. She's sitting next to the person in the large in an ill-fitted suit. And she just says, exactly, you need to stop worrying about things that aren't your concern. Stick to what you know. And she's pointing and looking at Gavin. And as you walk up, The man in the ill-fitting suit says, and don't think about running. You know what happens if you... And as you say what you say, they all sort of look at you. 2 out of the 5 give me a roll.
Krill getting you're a plebeian death stares. Oh, that's a -2. I don't know what I'm rolling for.
Okay. 2 out of the 5. It just seems ambivalent to your mere existence. The well-heeled couple seem to just almost look through you.
To be expected on that one.
Give me another roll.
+1 on the die.
The man in the ill-fitting suit and the woman in the business manager special look at you, and you can feel that you are not welcome. You have clearly interrupted something, and they are actively looking at you in a very aggressive way. Give me another roll.
+2.
The man in the ascot looks at you as if you are a breath of fresh air.
Raising her drink to the man in the ascot, she says, "You know, Miss Karen and I were hoping to come out, meet some friends, have a dance. I'm sure you know my friend well. Would it be too much to ask to join you tonight?"
Oh, a friend of Miss Karen. Why? Well, I mean, unfortunately, and he glances sort of to the side.
As he does that, Krill's eyes go over him too. But Krill's gonna do an in-depth scan on him. On the man that he seems to be eyeballing negatively.
Okay.
It's a +1. I'm assuming I'm using my investigation skill for a 4 total.
Describe your capacity.
Krill, with her last couple upgrades, is capable of doing a full in-depth X-ray scan, as well as picking out any cybernetics, upgrades, or the like. Hell, she could check your blood pressure if she needed to.
His blood pressure is eerily normal. He's got multiple firearms on him, and he's got subdermal blade implants in both arms. Oh, and 1 cybernetic eye.
Ready too fast. I made a bunch of mistakes there. And 1 second.
Gavin.
She double checking her systems haven't been scanned herself.
Give me a roll. Gavin is glancing to the side, and he says, I would love to entertain you and Miss Karen. She was lovely company the last time." And he glances at the Van Cleefs, and he says, "You know, you remember the lovely young woman from last time, don't you, Jackson?" And Jackson sort of has a air about him. Yes, I think I remember her. Yes, we would love to entertain you two tonight, but unfortunately, it's a bit of a business meeting. It's unfortunate. I try to avoid it, but you know, it is what it is. You got 0. As far as you're aware, you remain unscanned.
Well, I'm sorry to hear tonight is such a loathsome use. It's Saturday, right? Or is it Friday?
Friday night.
I'm sorry tonight's such a loathsome use of a Friday evening. I hope you're not having too miserable of a time. Until then, though. Until you feel the need for some refreshing company, I'll be at the bar. I'm sure Miss Karen will be on her way in due time. I've got some schematics I can work on anyways. We work together, you see.
Give me a roll.
+1.
You definitely just got scanned.
And he finds a high-end, tech-savvy mechanism without any weapons, any outgoing attack software, or anything out of the norm that someone of a high-end worker wouldn't own.
Give me a roll for that spoofed scan.
Oh, that's not a spoof. Krill doesn't have any weapons on her. She doesn't have any equipment that would be seen as out of the ordinary. The closest thing you could say is that she's got extra scanning equipment, and she just said she works with tech.
Are you trying to conceal the nature of your body?
If someone asked, is that a Netrunner body, she would say, oh, it's a lovely one, isn't it?
Okay, cool. Then no worries on that.
Yeah, no, she's not trying to spoof what the body was originally designed for.
Okay. Then yeah, you definitely got scanned. As you said, you have schematics to work on that for sure got you scanned.
Krill is confident she has nothing that is really of note anyways.
Okay. Then yeah, we will Gavin looks at you and goes, "Oh, well, good luck, and I hope we can wrap this up at a decent hour."
Well, it was a pleasure meeting you all the same, Mr. Bayet.
I don't believe I caught your name.
Hi. You may know me as Miss Krill.
Lovely, Miss Crow. Then yes, if I don't happen to have the pleasure later, then say hello to Miss Karen for me.
Of course. She was really hoping to see you tonight. Ladies, gentlemen, I hope your discussions are productive. Have yourselves a lovely one. As she walks away with her drink, trying again to imitate that Karen walk as best as she can, she gets back to the bar and does a, holy fuck! I am not good at that part. Whew.
You wonder how I feel after the whole thing yesterday? As it shows briefly, Patty she's got her rifle next to her, and she mutes herself on the comms to Troy, for Krill for a second, and looks over at Troy. So she says, we got a fucking one of our group flying in the field, no backup, no comms. I'm feeling like someone's about to get shot.
Can Troy get a recording of like Karen's last known location before she shut her codex off?
Of course.
All right. Troy states that, well, I do have Karen's last known location if you would like to investigate there.
Sure, send me the details. I'll keep on comms. Tell me if anything goes haywire.
All right. Troy sends over the coordinates, the address, everything about that was recorded about Karen's last location.
Okay. Patty's going to circle around to set a bellow first, carrying the rifle in the case, and she's just going to just make her way slowly, just not trying to get in Karen's way if she's doing anything, but she's going to get closer to get back up in case shit goes sideways. So
Yep. We cut back to a now several pages turned over notebook. And
Karen, as she's writing, stops for a second, looks back at Ethan, and goes, "You know, you could go get my shoe. That'd be great. Oh, and by the way, if you break it, you owe me a $300 pair to replace it."
give me a roll.
+1.
You see in his eyes the look of a broke reporter at the idea of 300 creds for a pair of shoes. Right? There's this combination of paralyzing fear, right? And also rabid disgust. And it is a solid several beat while this sort of processes, and you can see him sort of work through the emotions on his face as he goes through these stages, and eventually he just sort of shakes out of it and like okay, and he goes out the window. And he's, let's see, that's a +1. He returns with your shoe. The heel is still attached, but the, whatever, dyed material that is on the heel is most certainly worse for wear and scratched up. He goes, "Not broken."
At least I can walk in them for now. Thanks. Better than nothing, I could suppose. You don't have 300 creds to your name, do you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, I couldn't buy you a new pair of shoes. No.
Okay, all right.
But, I mean, somebody like you just walk into a store and walk out with a pair of shoes, wouldn't you?
I mean, kinda, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, we'll call it square.
It's not, but okay. Goes back to writing.
So, camera cuts as more scribbles on a piece of paper. The camera comes back and we see Patty traversing the city. What are you doing?
She's making her way around to Cetabello first, as in hoping that she can get a distant view to see if, like, either Karen's comms back on first, and to see if she gets back in communication, and, like, she'll give it, like, a minute before checking, and if seeing nothing, she's going to start making her way towards where Karen's last location was. So this way, she's hoping to run into her on the way here rather than ending up at her last location.
Yeah. You are essentially heading pretty close. You're sort of well, not close to where you are, but pretty close to places that you're familiar with. You're sort of ending up down towards. You are headed towards between M&M and the Drifter Depot. So you're definitely in the sort of broke residential territory, just sort of adjacent to industrial.
Okay. As she's making her way along, kind of getting a view, she's going to start getting a higher view. So she's going to go off from the level she's at, and she's going to get a level above, right? She's going to start getting a little bit of a camera's eye view rather than just a human. And she sends a message over to Troy, passing by Setabello, making my way to the last known location. And then just goes back on mute as she's walking.
Give me a roll as you pass by Setabello.
Sure. That's a +0.
Cool. You head on your way towards the Karen's last known location. Oh, hold on. Why is...
Something wrong?
Yeah, that's going to be annoying on the recording, but it is what it is. The Discord text just didn't fuck off for some reason. So we had names for some reason on screen.
All right. Yeah. Patty's just making her way around. She's got her rifle on her back and then starting to get a bit more perspective. She's trying to watch out for anyone as she's getting closer to that area. Like somebody watching from the roofs, rifles, snipers, anybody watching on the ground looking to cause some shit, right? Like she's watching out for people who may either want to go after her, Karen, or Ethan.
You are in a very urban dense area. Getting up in this is sort of a mixed bag. One, it's difficult to do, but two, the definition of up in this part of town, there are mega structures in this part of town. So, like, up could mean hundreds of meters.
Okay. She doesn't want to go hundreds of meters. She's wanting just to go a good bit of distance to where she can. And, like, basically she's having to go up and down with the available roads, streets, rooftops.
There is definitely, as you sort of pass in this area, you do have access to the sort of the highway system and the road network. So you could theoretically, because the roads are multi-level situations, you could theoretically pull off onto the side of one of the elevated roadways and sort of like throw your blinkers on and peer over the edge. Like, that's entirely doable. Or you could try getting up in buildings. You could try scaling the side of buildings using a variety of techniques.
Okay. As she's zeroing in on the Karen's last location, right? She's looking around the buildings itself. Are there... Okay. She would have seen Karen's video. Was she recording video there, or is it just comms? I'm asking Karen.
Just comms.
Okay, so she didn't see the car. Okay, she's looking at the last known location.
The last known location would take you sort of baseline surface level in an alleyway.
Okay, she sees that alleyway. She's going to go to the adjacent alley, and if she's going to try to see if there's like ladders, fire escapes, she can try to ascend a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. She's just gonna start climbing up it, trying to not make too much noise, just trying to slowly circle up it until she can hopefully get to either like a clearing or like a base level.
Give me 2 rolls.
All right. +3.
Okay,
then...
you get the ladder down, and nobody notices. You are ascending this quietly.
Okay. -1 for the other though.
So far, I mean, you don't really see anything. You don't know what you're looking for. So you just start ascending, I don't know how
Yeah.
high you go, but you are pulling this off successfully.
Yeah.
Nobody's like sticking their head out a window yelling at you as you ascend this fire escape. So
Yeah. So what she does is she gets to eventually to like probably a good few floors up, right? She figures that wherever this place is going to be, it's going to be some distance up, but it's not going to be insanely high. So she's either just undercutting it or probably overcutting it a little bit, somewhere in that range. And so she gets out. What is she looking at as she gets?
you're
Hopefully,
in an alley. You are on a fire escape in an alleyway. So what you're looking at is like you're looking at other brickwork and another fire escape a handful of feet away from on the other side, and the occasional windows in this just monolithic structure. And then you can sort of see down that way and sort of see down that way.
How high does the fire escape go?
To the top.
To the top. She opens up her comm to Troy again, says, I've got eyes on some of the location. I need eyes on other parts. Can you jump in some cameras, give me a view of some other spots so we can keep an eye in case some fuckers decide to fuck with Karen?
I will see what I can do. However, I'm currently keeping an eye on Krill.
Does she need anything right now?
Troy sends a text over to Krill. Do you require anything?
Internal sensors are telling me my pseudo blood pressure is high, but I am okay.
Are you at risk for cardiac arrest?
Don't think so. I don't know if it's possible, but for now, let's assume it is, and I don't think so.
Would you like me to continue monitoring for any arrhythmia?
Yes. Let's not let this be my last day on Earth because I talked to fancy people. Yeah, okay. I've got time to waste. So I am going to just focus on keeping an eye on that table lightly.
The bartender approaches and gives you a flute of champagne, or at least a bubbly liquid of some sort, let's put it that way, and points down towards the end of the bar and says, from the gentleman on the end. The man he points at is a greased, slicked back hair man in his upper 50s, early 60s sort of territory. And he looks at you and gives you the most ridiculously like wink.
Okay. Internal dialogue of Krill. Karen has mentioned mating rituals, means of pulling in mates. Documentaries would call this peacocking. This man is trying to show a source of wealth as his value. I am trying to be undercover, making a scene is not appropriate right now. Krill grabs the bottle.
Glass.
Oh, I thought you said oh, right, flute. Sorry. Yeah. Her flute of champagne. And walks to the man slowly. I'm here on business tonight. What does that mean you can offer me? As she sits the glass next to him. And there is a little intimidating sting there.
The man looks at you and goes, you know, this is the problem with your entire generation. This is the problem with women today, is that ultimately all they're looking for is some high value male that can provide them with something.
And throwing your money around on an expensive flute of champagne, that was what?
I was just trying to be nice to somebody who caught my attention. Clearly, look at you. I mean, look at the getup that you're in, because you're clearly trying to get somebody's attention with all of these colors. You're essentially out here strutting your stuff, and you get my attention. And the first thing you asked me is, "What can I do for you? What can I provide for you?" See, this is the problem. This is.
Krill has Krill again thinking, like, she looks back to Gavin and seeing if he's witnessing any of this. Her being shouted down upon.
Give me a roll.
Ooh, that's a +2 on the die.
You see him look up, but then you see him look back to what he's engaged in at the time. What you do notice is that when he looks away, you look back, you do notice that the bartender has taken notice of this.
Krill clutches her purse and goes, "I'm so sorry. I hope there wasn't any offense. And she starts stammering louder and louder. I wasn't here for that oh goodness."
You see the bartender steps away. He steps out from behind the bar. He goes over to the table, leans over, and you see the man in the ill-fitting suit get up. And he's the one who walks over. And he approaches this guy and goes, "That's enough of that. What do you mean enough of that? I'm a paying customer. It's this one here. I bought this. I bought the drink for her. I'm still spending money here. It's not like she's spending any money in this fucking place. You should be talking nice to me." And he grabs him by the sort of scruff of the neck and just sort of marches him to the front of the door, to the front of the restaurant, with him sort of kicking and sort of like lashing out a little bit. And you notice at one point there's a moment in time where neither of his feet are touching the floor. So just at like half arm's length around the back of his neck, this guy
He's been picked up fully.
This guy is being suspended at this point. So he is just being moved forward.
Substantial strength being added to the list of notes.
So he the sort of door, the door opens and he takes him out into the alcove and the other door, and you see, give me a roll. There's like, there's gilded lettering on the doors, and there's just woodwork in the way.
-2 on the die.
You see,
assuming perception.
See a shoe, sort of. You see a sort of parabolic arc to a shoe.
Huh.
Beat goes by. Ding.
Krill?
As the door opens again, the man in the suit
Krill?
comes in and just goes back to the table.
She tries to intercept. Not like aggressively.
Go ahead and try.
I'm sorry. I think we got off on the wrong foot over there. I want to say thank you. I've never been in a situation like that where someone's looked me over like that and saw, how would I say, a enticing object. This body is new. I'm an engineer. I had an accident, and I had to replace my body in a desperate need, and we were able to find this one.
It's it's fine. It's fine. I handled him. Don't worry about it. And you just see him like signaling to staff. He's just sort of flailing. Like you could see this is not his world. And so he's just sort of like trying to signal to somebody for almost help. As he just sort of like, it's fine, don't worry about it. And he's just trying to like scooch past you to get back to the table.
Can I at least buy you a drink to say thank you?
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. In fact, bartender, whatever she wants, just get her a drink. And you see him glance as he says that over to the corner booth, looking for approval as he says that.
Can Krill follow his gaze and see what's going on?
Give me a roll.
Oh, that's only for a notice or an investigate. That's only a +1 total.
He doesn't look at Gavin.
That's all I know.
That's what
Okay.
you know.
Karina has ideas, not information Krill does, so we'll leave it at that. But can I spend a fate point for my plans supersede all else? And I want to.
That one feels like a stretch.
Well, I am a schemer. I am a planner. And if I need to know something, I want to figure it out.
I mean, why don't you just invoke your high concept?
True, you know what? Fine. Mechanical marvel, medical monstrosity. I want to triple check who's signaling him back.
You just want the +2?
I'll take just the +2.
Okay. He glances at the woman in the shitty pantsuit.
Thought so. I needed that for the confirmation, though. Okay.
He glances over to the booth, looking for approval from somebody. You follow his gaze. Gavin is not actually looking at him. Gavin is looking at the Van Cleefs, and still engaged in some sort of small talk or some sort of talk with them. The bodyguard looks at the woman in the gray pantsuit, and she gives just a slight nod. An ever so slight nod at him. And he turns back and goes, "You're fine. Just speak to the bartender. Tonight's check is on us. Have something to eat, have something to drink. We're so sorry for what you experienced." And he's gesturing at the bartender And so you actually feel a hand just gently on your shoulder. And it's the bartender, who is...
Expecting it, Krill still pretends to be a little jumpy, though. She goes, oh, sorry.
Oh, my apologies. I've got a little table in the corner for you, set apart. If your friend decides to join you, then you two can have a private table to yourselves for yourselves in the corner. We'll get you straightened out. Don't worry about it. My apologies.
Thank you very much.
As you are paying attention to the bartender as he is speaking, the man in the ill-fitted suit has already slipped away and back to the table. The bartender takes you down. It's literally just a back wall of tables. The booth is in the corner, and there's that just sort of back wall. It's a very small restaurant, but that back wall, and then you've got the table closest to the glass front, so you can see the street and you can see out. And depending on how you sit, you can either see directly out, or you could sit your back to the street and you could see most of this place. But given the nature of the booths, you are now an obscured sight line to that back booth.
She'll still take the obscured sight line over none.
Okay.
Plus, then she can look at the waiter and such, and if anyone asks, you could just say it's safer to see someone coming than have your back to them. After having that scare. Krill sits down and just orders some seafood.
The sort of fruit de mer platter of food comes out. You order some like fried calamari rings and that sort of thing, but what actually comes out is a full like fruit de mer platter, so fruit of the sea sort of situation. It is full spread. They've decided that they're going to just take care of you tonight. There's a lovely...
Tips the waiters immediately anyways.
Okay.
Even if it's covered, just making sure she's doing a good impression.
There's a glass of white wine that comes out with this. There's that sort of thing. So we see Krill with an enviable spread of high-end, especially for this world, high-end food.
She is immediately playing a video in her head, She's playing a video from the 80s on manners at a fancy table, ending with a video of a guy in a weird, like, founding fathers outfit going, "Mind your manners, man."
As we leave Krill, the camera fades away from the scene of opulence that Krill has stumbled her way into, and her sort of second outing, first time properly in Karen's shoes, and has sort of stumbled headfirst into a scene of opulence that would be not dissimilar to one that Karen would seek to find herself in. We cut back to Karen, who is in quite the antithetical scene, a rundown, disheveled street investigative journalist's apartment filled with disused cartons of to-go containers and empty beer bottles and the wonderful aroma that all of that brings, I'm sure. So how do we find Karen?
She is now at the last page of this notebook and is so angry as she's writing, she's just tearing the paper with the pencil. It's just like, I'm done. This is good. You can't have any better copies of this. This is the only way you can do this.
Fewer copies, fewer people that find them.
Fair. Okay. Fine. I can get my people to do this, I think.
Okay, so then, and he checks his watch, and it is at this point, it's approaching. We're getting into the hours now. Like, you guys started this, it's in early evening. We are pushing nighttime now. Karen unironically has been taking notes for a couple of hours while Krill has been sipping on champagne and white wine and eating delicious food, and Patty has been wandering up and down
I have
alleyway.
taken a position at a certain point after like unsurety. I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit here. I have a decent distance going both ways. I've asked Troy to try and get more eyes on the area. This way we can get 2 sets of eyes watching the whole surroundings. And I'm just kind of sitting there. The rifle's open. The rifle case is open, but it's not taken out.
So are you just sitting on a fire escape like ledge, basically?
Basically.
Like a fire escape landing outside somebody's apartment?
Yep. She's just trying to keep quiet.
Give me another stealth roll.
All right. That's a -2, as I expected. Do I go for the reroll? Is it possible to invoke my friends matter most to me? Because if I fuck up, I could put Karen in danger. I really need to be on point for this moment.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to go for a reroll. Alright, don't fuck me. Don't fuck me. Don't you fuck me. Alright. That's a +1.
So far, you seem fine.
Alright. She's just trying to keep eyes. She's just looking back and forth on occasion, seeing people that pass by. She's got her video up streaming to Troy in this moment, and she sends a message over to Troy. Found anything? Seen anything?
Troy is just kind of switching from camera to camera in the nearby area. Just knowing a little bit better now that sticking to one particular camera for too long puts him at risk. He also has Krill's vital signs patched into him so that he can keep a monitor on those while he is currently assisting Patty. It's affecting his latency some, but not a lot. And just, I'm certain there's got to be like hundreds of cameras just in the area that Patty is in.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And he just jumps from one to one
Troy's,
to one to the other.
If you're watching Troy's camera feed, it's, the inside of somebody's apartment because they've got their own security camera in their own apartment, and you're watching somebody like, net dive in game. It switches and you see someone rubbing one out. You switch and you see a couple banging. You switch and you see a dude depressed drinking with a fucking gun on the table next to him, and you're like, oh, that's probably not going to end well. You switch, it's just like, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Sort of just toggling through all of these cameras as he just sort of pushes his consciousness through all of these electronic devices one after the other. Just, I'm assuming in some sort of pattern that, is predictable and not some just random jump through the area. I don't know.
Semi-methodological pattern so that he can say that he has sweeped an area. But yeah, interior cameras, exterior cameras, whatever he can find. I'm probably going to assume that nothing he is capable of accessing right now has any kind of clear view of Karen.
No.
I figured. I'm pretty sure that if Gavin's this, if Ethan, caught myself, is this, paranoid about any electronic devices, he has nothing in his house, and there's probably nothing at any angle outside that can see in, so for the most part, Troy just keeps his sweep going. I'm pretty sure a few times he's able to get a bead in on Patty, since she's not exactly... Well, she's being stealthy, but Troy has an idea of where Patty is.
Give me a roll.
All right. That's a -3.
Cool, no worries. I was just gonna call it a luck roll, right? And
All right.
we'll see if you get lucky on something or not. I had something in mind.
Nice.
So we'll just call that an up or a down, and that was a no.
All right.
So yeah, you're just sweeping these cameras in the local vicinity, keeping an eye on that sort of thing. Are you sort of weighting them equally, or are you like sort of paying attention to outside more than inside? Are you?
There is a cascading weight system going. There's at a certain point he's figured out these cameras aren't going to see shit. You know, he can only watch that depressed dude like have a drunk wank so many fucking times before he realized Karen's not going to show up there.
Yep. So you're starting to scratch off.
Yeah, I'm scratching off cameras that Troy is relatively certain aren't going to provide anything useful, and at least narrowing it down to something that could potentially either, well, not find her. We've already established narratively that Troy's not going to find where she is, but should she exit or something like that? Should she, suddenly appear? He's trying to increase his chance of finding that.
Give me another roll.
All right. That's a -1. Better than -3.
As you were cycling through the cameras, the building across from down the alleyway and across the street, sort of horizontal across the street from where Patty is presently, you come across one camera that's blacked out. As you're rotating through cameras, there's one camera that you find that was operative but blacked out.
Is it physically blacked out? When I like it when he can he access it and there's no feed, or like there's something covering the lens or something?
It is an operative camera, but it is not displaying anything to you.
That registers as a potential anomaly to Troy, and anomalies mean things that he's starting to find out, so he keeps a pin on the location of where that camera is very likely to be, and potentially which angles that camera could be potentially spotted from other cameras.
That camera is pointed downwardly from the top, from one sort of the mid-range corner of the building, and seems to be observing the alleyway.
This is the alleyway adjacent to Patty, right?
Correct.
Troy sends a text to Patty stating that a camera pointed exactly at the alleyway adjacent to you has been tampered with. Unclear if currently related to Karen. I will keep monitoring the situation, but the alleyway adjacent to you may be of interest.
So Patty's kind of like raising her head a little bit more. So like she's on one side of the street. What he's pointing to is the alleyway on the other side of the street.
Correct.
Okay. Patty just sends back, could be Ethan being paranoid, could be somebody wanting to fuck with Karen or Ethan. Don't know either way. Keep an eye out. Tell me if something changes. And she's going to start paying a little more attention to that side. She'll still occasionally check her back just to make sure there's nothing going on that way. But she's going to start focusing in a little more on that area.
Okay. Troy, what are you going to continue doing?
Troy is going to continue his... I'll say that he has probably narrowed down a certain field now of potential interest in these cameras.
Okay.
And he's going to just cycle around this area for a little while. Every once in a while, keeping an eye on Krill's vitals, and perhaps if, he senses there's a brief moment where he could probably, I don't know, go back and just check on Krill's comms, see if anything is happening that he may need to be concerned about, and then jumping back into his little camera search pattern.
Honestly, Krill is more comfortable than you think you've seen her
Yeah.
in a long fucking time.
Yeah, because Krill's feedback gives hormonal levels and neurotransmitter levels. All of these are within measurement and control of the body itself. So yeah, you're seeing a flush of serotonin, you're seeing a flush of dopamine, you're seeing all these pleasant neurotransmitters being of higher concentration in the bloodstream. You're seeing cortisol levels drop. You're seeing sort of all of these stress markers sort of just plummet.
With Troy kind of knowing what Krill's baseline is, he marks this down as anomalous and then goes back to watching Patty. Also, potentially just heard a disabled person fall. I will be right back.
Okay. All right. Well then, we
That was sudden.
we cut. That's usually how that works. Yeah, we cut back to the interior of the apartment. So, can we do this tonight?
Probably, yes.
All right. Then, do you need anything from me?
Do you have any that you found?
No.
So you don't really have anything else left that would be helpful. Okay, got it.
I mean, I tried, but I've spoken to a few employees at A to B. I thought maybe I could get an inside contact, right? Not my first time getting a whistleblower. I've dealt with whistleblowers in industry before. This felt different. They felt... How do I explain this? They felt more afraid.
More paranoid.
Afraid.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't get anybody to talk to me. I tried, but for a shipping company's employees to be as tight-lipped as they were, it just felt off. Something smelled wrong, and I kept digging, and I kept digging, and I kept digging, and before you knew it, I need criminals.
We do make a lot of things easier. Okay.
I used to have somebody for this.
And what happened to them?
It's kind of a long story. It was a falling out, and then things happened.
As can happen when interests change. Okay. We can do this tonight. Yes. Yeah. I'll need to start moving quickly, though.
So, should I come with you, or...
No. Unless... Why not?
Okay, field mission.
Only because I want to keep an eye on you.
All right, well then, give me a second. He goes over to the window, and you see him reach down and do something in the corner again. And he goes, "Okay, we can go out the front door this time."
No hairs on that one.
That one has a different thing.
You want to open it for me?
I don't know if you've noticed at this point or not, but when he goes over there, the hinges are reinforced and there's multiple locks down the line, and so it's sort of a multi-step process to get this unlocked. And so when he swings this door open, you see on the front side that there's a line of like keyways on the front of this. And after you.
Okay. Karen leaves.
As he walks out and starts doing the locks up again, you see he reaches up into sort of the crack and he sort of leans on the door, and you can't quite see what he puts up there, but he does something.
I can appreciate the level of paranoia you operate at.
Give me a roll.
+2.
He actually, you see appreciation.
Okay.
There's like legitimate sort of like, not quite pride, but like, fuck yeah, somebody gets me.
I feel seen.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Right,
Somebody gets me.
You're dedicated. I get it. Okay.
Troy. Give me a roll.
Alrighty. That's a -2.
Cool. You're just cycling through cameras.
Just cycling.
Yep, cycling. Karen and Ethan come out the front of this building. It's sort of down the sort of the building. I mean, the alleyway, the building's fairly wide. And so it's sort of midpoint in the building. And so you exit onto the street, and he just sort of, he keeps walking. Because if he's going to get a car or, that sort of thing, it's not coming to the front of his building sort of situation, right? So he keeps walking, and he eventually turns after like a block or so. He turns and looks at you and goes, "Okay, can you get a car?"
Yeah. Step 1 will be, I need to talk to some people.
Oh, yeah.
Karen
Yeah, makes sense.
pops the battery back into her codex and plops onto the comms, open comms to everybody. How's it going?
You still alive?
Sorry, excuse me. How did it go?
No more chewing on comms. It's I'm fine. We have something we need to do tonight. Where's everyone at?
Patty opens up on her comm, says, I was watching your 6.
Karen turns around and looks at her own ass. What?
Patty starts climbing down the fire escape now. She's not trying to be stealthy coming down now, so she'll just look like a weirdo coming down the fire escape. And, there's one guy who'll be like, what the fuck? And she's like, just keeps going and ignores them. And eventually you'll see her come maybe from a far distance out of the alley if there's not many people passing by.
You're here. Oh.
Yeah, well, you gotta make sure you don't get shot.
Convenient. Can you get a car?
Well, our car is back at our base.
Can you get a car here?
You want me to call one?
Yeah.
Okay, she just calls up, random, either taxi, Uber, or some car to drive or something. Just hits it up.
Yep.
Just says, this location, pick us up. Where are we going?
Where's our fish monster?
She's back at Setabello, and then she sends a message, talks to Troy. You can go check back on Crow now. We're good. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Bayette's friends bought me dinner.
Well, I hope you at least are full on your energy then.
I think I hit 100% 20 minutes ago. This is really good.
Well done then. Okay. All right.
So
As long as we don't have to pay for that.
I've never had fish food before. This is so good.
We're gonna need to pick you up, but not at the restaurant. Can you go a couple blocks away?
I was really hoping to get Bayette's ear after they're done their meeting, but they've been still talking hard at it for a while now.
It's probably more convenient for us if they're still there.
You know what? Fair enough. Okay.
As that happens...
Krill gets out of the call and quickly finishes up the... It's like, shit, gotta go. And she puts a napkin over her mouth and just starts just losing it down her gullet.
Okay. As that happens, Patty turns to Ethan, looks him up and down. So you're the weirdo that she ran into?
He looks at Karen. He looks back to you. He looks to Karen. He looks back to you and says, I don't answer questions.
Cool.
He then looks back to Karen and goes, one of yours?
Karen, with a big smile on her face, just goes, uh-huh.
Okay.
Patty just pulls her sunglasses down and looks at Karen for a second and looks at him and then back to her and then puts them back up.
Karen shrugs and goes, journalists? I don't know.
Alright, cool. Car's coming 1 minute. There it is. Alright. Y'all get in first. And she opens up the door for Karen.
Gavin steps in.
Gavin?
Do you mean
sorry.
Ethan?
Ethan, sorry.
I was about to say,
Happens-
I know Krill's been eating, but she's not
happens
been
to the
that
best.
poor on
Happens to the
the
best of
curse.
us. Yeah, this is Caboose's fault.
Damn it, Caboose.
Happens to the best
Damn
of
it,
us.
Caboose.
Ethan steps in.
Alright.
Karen looks over at Krill and goes, what about my door? Or not Krill. God damn it.
Damn it, Caboose.
This is
I
entirely
was
Caboose's
waiting for you
fault.
to realize it too.
This is entirely Caboose's fault.
Yep.
Hell.
Patty,
Look at what you
Patty's
did
like,
to us.
Patty just leans over, scoot over, and just holds the door. She's not really focused. She's kind of looking around, just getting a little bit of a once over before they walk inside to see if anybody's fucking stalking them.
Give me a roll.
All right. Come on, don't fuck me. -2. Yep, that's fine.
It would appear that no one is following you.
All right. Patty just points her hand towards the car.
Do we need to fate point that one? No. Okay. Probably wouldn't be. It'd be like a reroll.
Yeah, I don't feel like that is the case. There's probably going to be someone watching us more than anything, just making sure somebody doesn't shoot us. Unless you want to get a quick view before you head in the car.
No. Well,
Never hurts.
Ethan leans out and says, set the destination as Central Terminal.
Patty puts it for Central Terminal.
good choice.
And eventually just get in the car. Door closes, sets the rifle in front of her. And as the car starts taking off, Patty's got her hand on her thigh, just not on the gun, but close to it. Just paying attention, just making sure she's keeping an eye out. Just as they're driving up, it just quickly cuts through traffic. It's evening, so it's probably a little thick at this point. Takes like a good 5, maybe 10 minutes at most to eventually circle around to Central Terminal. Or unless we're picking up Krill first, a few blocks away.
Well, when you get to Central Terminal, Ethan goes, okay, let's change cars here.
All right. Gets out, pays the driver, and then you want me to call a new one, or are we walking a little bit away?
Let's.
All right, you lead the way.
Ethan goes down a little bit. He goes into substructure territory. So rather than following the road network up and out, he starts heading down into the tunnels. Patty recognizes a newsstand that she once stopped off at and bought a protein bar at while she was trying to find her way out of these subtunnels, having lost a van down here.
They're probably literally passing by the exact place that it happened. So
We killed the homeless man.
Yeah, Patty's just saluting for a moment as they're walking.
I was Dalton.
Krill helped.
One of my finest moments.
Burial at sea.
Krill at sea.
Let's see. Yep.
Oh, we didn't finish the song.
Yeah, and you head down a little ways, just a little around the corner, and then he looks at you and goes, "Okay." He looks at Karen. He goes, "Okay, can you get a car now?"
He doesn't want the same device tracking.
Yeah, fair. Karen hands her codex to Patty.
You're lucky I like you. And then puts in the call for the next car, arrives, opens up. Patty is this time checking to see if there's any cars strictly following them as she's getting in.
Give me an advantaged roll.
Okay. Roll. That's a +0. Come on, give me something. That's a +1. So I've got a +1 to investigation if that works.
There is nothing that you're seeing that is similar. You're not seeing any repeat vehicles.
As she's getting in, she just leans over to Karen, closes the door. No repeats. And car takes off. Where are we heading to now?
Near Sotobello.
All right. And then sends a message to Krill. Start walking. We'll catch you. And then the car is
Sounds
taken
good. I was
off.
just thanking the waiters.
No problem. And as the vision is cutting off, as Krill, God damn it, I did it too. Krill and the car slowly approaches. Patty opens up the door and says, "Hopping inside. I'll ride the front."
Krill comes and sits in, and she has a little white bag, and she hands it to Karen. I feel like you still are owed this, even though, because you didn't get to join.
Karen opens the bag and just goes, "Oh my god, it's so much better than Ethan's apartment. Thank you."
Although, to be fair,
Caviar,
the
crab
inside
legs.
of this car does now smell like seafood, so, you know.
Still
Must.
better.
All right. Car pulls off, and she leans over from the front. Where are we going to now? Just
A to B.
all right. Just
Hmm?
Docks across the street from A to B.
Yes.
okay, and just gives the address to the driver. Patty is watching the rear view mirror, see if there's any more repeats, any changes. Just very much he's paying attention. Probably she's keeping an extra second set of eyes.
Give me an advantage roll.
Okay. Come on. Okay. +0. Man, these +0s. The -3. We'll take that +0.
Nothing stands out to you. Now, give me a second.
Okay.
As you're driving along, Ethan looks at you and goes, "Change the destination."
Where to?
We're going to the Shard.
Okay. Changes to the Shard. Extra little fee on top, and then reroutes to the Shard. As the car eventually pulls up and just sidles onto the sidewalk, Patty opens the door. We walking from here?
It's not a far walk. I don't see an issue unless
All right.
we absolutely need the train.
Patty pulls out 2 extra pairs of shoes in her backpack. Y'all need anything besides those heels?
Why don't we take the train from the Shard, seeing as that's 4 different stops, and we can just get off right around the corner from our destination, and then we can just use some back alleys to get there.
I'm not against that. Has anyone got any problems with that?
All right. Well, if you want to change shoes, this is your chance.
We're taking the train. I don't think I need it.
All right. Puts it back in the backpack.
Karen hands the papers of her notes to Krill and says, "This is what we're going to be looking for."
Krill just does one of
Any
those.
records.
Just does one of those robotic flipping it as she's scanning every page as it's going by very quickly. Just. All right, got it all categorized. Wow, that's going to take some deciphering, but I don't see any issue with that information. I see what we're going after now.
Okay. As the car's pulling off, Patty just raises her hand. Can I ask what the fuck we're doing?
Probably not while we're in a licensed vehicle.
Ethan turns to Karen and looks at Karen and says, doesn't even say it, it just goes,
Just a little poke.
All right. Cool. Patty starts following Ethan's lead because he's got his whole paranoia traveling. So she's just following him, keeping an eye on their six. She's walking at the back, holding up the rear to make sure if something goes down, she can take it from the back.
Ethan leads you guys from the sort of drop off through the pavilion outside of the shard, through the crowds, and is very purposely, you can tell, is going through like large clusters of people, and leads all the way to the train station that is adjacent to the shard, and waits for the next train, gets on. You guys go up one stop, change trains. You then take the train westbound. You go 2 stops. He gets off. You guys walk down the street. This is adjacent to the docks. You can see a large amount of drone traffic overhead. But you see he's hugging the side of the street that is away from the docks, and sort of cutting down alleyways and heading down sort of down the narrows of some of these buildings. And you see he stops before crossing the road over to A to B.
Do we want a bird's eye view? There's a lot of drone traffic. Might be easier to disguise them amongst it.
Maybe they might be more useful helping us look.
Gotcha.
We should at least keep one on the outside to keep it appraised of anything coming, though.
Patty sends a message to Troy. Can I get another set of eyes, my dude? We're at the docks outside A2B. Don't hit any of their stuff, but just pop around.
If we don't need any scanning, that's probably your best bet. Good idea, Patty.
Well,
the big book.
Oh, he's had this locked and loaded.
Well, we're starting to get first reconnaissance looks.
Psychic damage.
Yeah, well, I took psychic damage when I said it.
Yeah, fair enough.
This is all Cabooses' fault.
No, not this time.
Technically, it's your fault, Patty.
What we are doing, if you want to know, the papers. We are looking for them in the system. Any connection? The idea is that some of these things listed may be connected here somehow. Any connection we can find between this place and those names will help us. Specifically, Karen then flips through and points at where are you, notes?
I think it's just kind of like
Global
looking,
Nexus Holdings. That one. Points to that one.
We're looking for Global Nexus Holdings?
Shibabm!
Can you not?
Huh.
Don't give her the book. Don't give her the book. That was a mistake.
I wasn't asking for the book. I just need to know what I'm fucking doing.
Why
We're looking for
Okay.
paper trail 2.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Jesus. Sorry.
Just looking for paper trails.
Okay. Well, how the fuck are we supposed to get the paper trail in that place?
Well, we'll have to do it a little creatively, won't we?
Mm-hmm. Do we want to go
Before we even
Rick
try anything further? No, let's leave that. Let's leave that in the holster for now. Krill is going to bring up A to B offices on Duckett's Google. Is their office a 24-hour accessible place, or do they have office hours?
They have office hours, though, based on what you can observe from your drone camera surveillance thus far, and general observations from the first time that Karen and Patty visited this location, you can surmise that the warehouse portion of this facility is operational 24 hours a day, but it seems that the corporate client/corporate receiving area has proper office hours, of which you are outside of.
All right. Krill's got a pretty wide range using Trix's microbot cameras. I'm going to do an in-depth scan for cameras and surveillance equipment. Can I roll for that?
You don't need to roll. So, based on the camera positions and viewpoints that you pre-established when you set up your cameras monitoring this facility, you are pretty sure that there are cameras on all four corners of the external of the building, and that there is one above the corporate entrance door pointed out towards the car park. And there is one at the front door of the building that clients normally come through, pointed outwardly as well. You can see these from your external pointing in cameras.
Can we see an employee door?
Yes. Okay. So you are presently looking essentially at we're going to leave compass directions out for this. We're going to work just standard left, right, up, down sort of situation. So you know, okay? The front of the building is across the street, and the right-hand most corner of that building is on your left-hand side. So the building is mostly to your left. Right?
Okay.
It's set off entirely to your left at this point. It is a longer than wider building. Okay. On the right-hand side of that building, there is a entrance to there's an entrance that you observe that is adjacent to the corporate parking lot. And some of those parking areas were described as having cover. Some of them did not have cover. It's clearly sort of differentiating some sort of hierarchy within employees, right? The door on the right-hand side of the building is facing that parking lot. There is then a wider glass facade on the front that Patty and Karen entered through. What you know about this is there's a wider set of doors, and that it enters into a larger alcove area that has the wellness center on the left-hand side that Patty's character had a moment in, that takes up the entire left-hand side right there. There is a desk in the front right corner that an employee occupies. This entrance atrium is 2 stories, and you could see glass windows lining the entire upper area of that. In that entrance area, there was a door directly behind the desk leading to what? You're unsure, but it is an employee door of some sort. It was demarcated from the rest of the area. On the left-hand side of the building was the freight arrival area. There was 2 major areas that were clearly set up for large-scale deliveries, freight unloading through large wind-up doors. The back was a solid wall.
I'm definitely going to have to go back over the recording to get that layout.
No, don't worry. I I put the time for us.
Yeah.
But I can
further-
show you some of this without much difficulty, actually. Give me one
Okay.
sec.
I actually got that one pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
I started
pretty
drawing.
decently, but it's good
I
to
started
have.
drawing and then I lost facts in between there.
Basically, right hand side, left hand side, front. Back's got nothing. And right side has. It's got the corporate parking lot, and then there's the white glass facade. It has the entrance atrium, and the left hand side has the freighter rental area.
Mm-hmm.
Troy.
There's the desk. There's the wellness center.
I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna get a little snack.
Okay. Krill, directing to Troy. We are going to need your skills on hand tonight. That's the shape of the building?
Wellness
And that's the
center,
one room we know
front,
of.
desk, door going back, side door coming in, and all of this probably warehouse. You're not sure though. Here is the sort of warehouse door up here. So, enter.
Okay.
This is 2 stories. You can see glass all the way up here and over here. So this is just a giant open atrium sort of thing that you walk into. This is all the wellness center that Patty occupied. And yeah, a car park would be down here sort of situation. And here's the employee entrance. And there's the front door. There's a camera there. There's a camera there. There's a camera there. And there's a camera there.
Troy, I am going to need your skills optimal tonight. We have plenty of eyes on the outside of the building. This is not where we need you to focus. You can connect to the drones at any point and see that we have multiple angles with ease. What we're going to need you to do is we need you to get into that system and control over the cameras. Shutting them down, though, is out of the question. Their system is more than likely sensitive enough to realize when a camera gets shut down or rebooted. I need you to loop footage of an empty space when we move through it. We'll wait for you to tell us when the next room is clear, but we are going to have to do this carefully. Do you think you're capable of that?
If we want to do this the most secure and efficient manner, I will only be able to do this to 1 camera at a time.
Not potentially 2 rooms? We can go room to room and then release the pass camera. That will allow us to chain any of our progression.
Potentially 2 rooms with some effort. The only other alternative would be a net dive, but however, I do not believe my skills are at the level now to tackle a facility of this high security.
If we can only get one place at a time, do we want to only send a few people in? Have some people as a backup in case?
How does that benefit us, though? Having people outside waiting.
Well, it means less people likely to trip any security cameras, anything. This way, we can at least.
And then the alternative, though, is then have people sitting on the camera waiting, and when we trip the alarm, have them running in. Either
Well,
way, faces are on camera.
Yeah, faces are going to be on camera, but we can minimize how many times our faces are on the camera. Because at the end of the day, if shit goes sideways, you got to be able to get the fuck out, and having people watching your 6 when you get out, helpful.
Do we have anyone we know who is capable of hacking that is not in Troy's group that we owe favors to? Karen, you have connections. Do you know anyone who is good at this?
If we were going to be including outside help, I think I could make any of the friends Troy has be interested in helping. It's just whether or not we want them in on this.
Our buddy here wants to keep the numbers as tight as possible, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
I say we put a little faith in our bud.
If we are going to employ outside help from Troy's friends, I would suggest just one, but it would be something they would be interested in probably helping with, I think.
Krill kind of whispers to Karen. Can we trust this fellow here? Do you believe that, like, his actions are the way to go? If so, I'm on board. I'm just asking.
So far, everything I've seen fits with what I know. He hasn't... He's barking up a tree that sounds like it's the right tree.
Just hopefully no one
Okay.
gets shot because of it.
Krill looks back to him.
Normal?
Yeah.
Ethan has heard all of this. He's just been standing here watching and listening, like literally not. I mean, he's like 2 feet away from you, sort of situation, right?
Yeah.
He has
Patty
heard.
very much knows that he's 2 feet away.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's,
Krill looks to him, but not in like an apologetic way. She's like, I'm sure you can understand my own paranoia.
he goes. On that note,
Let's move.
no outsiders, please. I'm already trusting. I don't know any of you. I barely know you. This is no more people, please.
I think Troy can handle it.
I have faith in Troy. I just need him to have faith in himself.
Patty turns off to the side for a minute, focuses in her codex on Troy. Hey, man. I know we put a lot on you already, right? But you're basically our fucking computer man all day, every day, right? I'm gonna need you to hone in a little hard, right? I need you to keep in mind, we're about to do some big shit here, right? You got it, okay? Don't put yourself down. Don't doubt yourself, right? Trust your gut. Be smart. You'll keep us alive, all right?
Give me your roll, Patty.
Okay. It didn't roll. +1.
Troy. Consider this the fate equivalent of a D&D inspiration.
All right, so basically a spare fate point.
Consider it just a spare point.
All right, something I can add at will.
Yeah. You
All
can
right.
take that +1 that Patty rolled and go ahead and carry that on through with you.
All right. I just got an interesting idea, but now I can't tell if Troy would be able to have this idea.
Flip a coin.
Would that be fair?
I do it for literally everything.
All right, I'll flip a coin. I don't have my wizard coin at the moment now, but someone at the post office gave me this Australian coin, so here's the
That's cool.
heads. Here's the tails.
All right.
It's probably got
Alright,
British
so-
bullshit on it.
Okay. I'll say heads. Troy has this idea. Tails. Troy doesn't have this idea. Tails. Troy doesn't have this idea.
C'est la vie.
All
All right. So Troy doesn't have this interesting idea, but he is thinking at least hardware's got to have. Nowadays, everything has active memory. It's just the way it's done now. Everything is basically its own contain computer. So Troy thinks if he uploads it to active memory for a little while, then he might be able to get the cameras to replay the video without having to do a more complicated and potentially riskier net diving experience. And he states, I will need a few minutes to record video.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, you got a few minutes. Tell us when you're ready.
All right. While the minutes begin ticking, which are, as far as Troy's concerned, hours, considering the speed at the hardware level, Troy is rushing over to the building, and he is going to attempt to access any of the camera feeds inside the building through the hardware layer.
Any or all?
All, I guess.
Okay. So as you bounce around, right? What you quickly learn is, we'll do this in a sort of logical order for you. There's a camera monitoring the entrance atrium. There's a camera monitoring what appears to be a some sort of like office area. It's difficult for you from just this camera position to orient yourself. There's two doors though that you can spot. There's one to your right, and then there's one further out to your left. And it's sort of a long stretch, and there's desks and stuff in this area. There's no one in there. There is a camera in the in what looks to be like a stairwell. It's sort of a hallway / stairwell. You see three doors and a set of stairs in this shot. There's doors immediately to your left. There's doors immediately to your right. There's doors straight down the hallway, and then there's a set of stairs leading upwards on that area. There's a series of 4 cameras that you bounce around in that cover the entire warehouse floor. In the warehouse floor, you see that there are racks of sort of like parcel shelves where, you know, barcoded items get placed. And then taking up a bulk of the warehouse floor area is some sort of contained refrigerated area or cooled. You can see cooling units on the externality of this sort of block structure. You can see that there's entrance doors on either side of it, sort of, you know, the roller doors for the freight delivery sort of are facing directly at one of those doorways that open up into this, whatever it is, cooled area as well. As you continue to bounce around, you see 2 more cameras. From one of those cameras, you can tell you're now on the 2nd floor. You're up in what you assume is the executive suite based on the well-appointed area. You can see sort of straight in that there's some sort of assistant's desk outside of an office. And given the amount of glass that's up here, you can see through most things. And that seems to be like an executive office of sorts, overlooking the atrium. And then from that camera position, it's sort of occluded, but you can see that there's like some more office space over here on your left. and you bounce over to the other camera across the way from that camera, and now you can sort of see that you have 3 offices. You have a director of logistics, you have you have your director of accounting, and then you have your business manager up there as well. And then, of course, you have your cameras covering the outside. 4 corners.
For each camera, he sets a simple little setting inside of the active memory of every camera. From the point he sets them out, the active memory will loop back to about 5 minutes ago, and then replay, and then once it gets to the end of that, it will loop back again to the 5 minutes ago and continue to replay.
Give me a roll.
All right. +2. And...
Want to spend that fate point?
No. Just hang on to it.
No, not the... fate point, maybe, but not the thing that Caddy just gave Troy. That should be an emergency only. So yeah, Troy I'm going to spend a fate point on that one. And I'm just going to invoke, like any one of his, you were born in the net will probably work fine on that one. And I'm going to add a 2 to that and make it a full-on 4.
This is the first time Troy has properly done field work. This is like, you're actually doing it. Like, the stuff that you guys have attempted thus far was sort of, it wasn't that good, and you knew that, like, you weren't that good. Maybe because you didn't get preparation time. Maybe because Troy was just sort of doing it. Troy doesn't really have a concept of instinct yet. But as near as you can get to this sentient machine's instinct, just jumping out to the hardware, you just spread your consciousness over this building, jumping from camera to camera to camera. And rather than in that moment sort of moving from camera to camera, what Troy begins to experience is that his visual awareness of this space grows. And Troy's building this model. He's got this floor plan laid out as he adds more and adds more and adds more and adds more, and he just starts to experience all of this visual spectrum simultaneously. He's experienced this sort of panopticon uber awareness before. This spreading of his consciousness across multitudes of devices simultaneously. And this is again one of those moments where now you see inside the building, you see outside the building. You sort of, in a weird conscious way, become the building. You start to just instinctually feel all of this data. And once all of it's in your awareness, you just sort of direct them all simultaneously. It hits 5 minutes, and Troy just sort of, and it's back. And it's back. These cameras are yours. They see what you want them to see.
For the first time, Troy feels big. It's like he can hold this entire building in the palm of his hands. It's like he's a god looking down upon Earth. Only, well, at the moment limited to just a single building, but Troy feels something a strange sensation, something that is weirdly familiar, but he could have sworn that he's never felt before. Pride, a sense of accomplishment. There's a second he takes to revel in this. It's a new sensation to him, or at least he thinks it's a new sensation. And the second hit, just to take it all in, that he did it. Maybe it was Patty's encouragement. Maybe it was just he didn't believe in himself until now, but he takes a second to take it all in, and then he returns or sends a message to the comms and saying, "You may proceed at your discretion."
All right, we got our window. Let's move. It's Maybelline, goddammit.
Wait before we start running in. Doors. Which ones are we going in? If they're locked, we need a means to get through.
Mm-hmm.
You can break through one, right, Grill?
I can try and dismantle a door, yeah.
Hey,
Well,
look. Troy's got us on a roll. You got it. It's okay.
I just wanted to make sure that's what we're going with. Because I don't exactly have like a lock-picking mechanism on me. I can take that apart. So...
Girl has a +2 in burglary.
Yes. That doesn't mean I'm picking locks. It means I'm dismantling the lock from existence. Anyways. Alright. Just wanted to make sure that's how we're getting in. Which doors are we heading in? We got bay doors, employee doors, we got the front door if we're really ballsy.
Employee door, we're likely wanting to go into either probably the director of accounting or the business manager's office.
So,
Probably both, ideally, and hit the director of logistics if we can while we're there.
okay. So let's make our way. Krill, you get the door unlocked. I'll scope around before anything else, and then we'll start making our way inside. All right?
Alright. Alright. Just needed permission before I do what I do.
Don't make too much noise.
We're gonna make noise. At least I'm too paranoid to leave without any tools.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. And they start making their way over to A2B, making their way to the employee doors. Patty's looking around, make sure no one's watching in the moment. Just
Give me a roll.
all right. I was just waiting for the roll. It's a -3. Patty's not reliable here. She's kind of
As far as
she's too fixated on the group right now. She's trying to keep the group together, keep the unit, keep it moving.
as far as you're aware, no one is monitoring you.
Prill will also
Karen
do
is
a
also
check.
looking around as well.
Yeah. Please do. Patty's unit mode. She's not good at surrounding areas.
That's a 2. That's a 2 total.
I also got a +2.
There is the occasional traffic on the road, but the car park is empty, and you do not see anybody.
Krill reaching into her clutch, pulls out a little multi-tool. I don't leave home without it. I'm always too scared. And she just gently looks for a means to pry a panel off of the entranceway. I'm assuming it's not a key lock.
It is not. No, it is very much an electronic lock.
Yeah. Gently, as ever, going around the seams all the way and lifting the whole surface off. Following the wiring from the display to the keypad. Is it a keypad or card?
It is a reader.
Reader. Gotcha. All right. It's a little bit simpler for me, actually. Looking over, looking for the internal battery. Okay. I'm going to rewire this to send a positive signal where it would normally read a negative. Stripping a little bit of wire here and there. And then she just touches them. Just gently for a positive ping.
Give yourself an advantaged roll.
Yes! Okay. Either way, it's a +1 total.
You want to fate point that?
I am going to...
Karen
Say-
rubbing Krill on the back as she's paranoidly looking around.
I mean,
just
we're
going,
getting close to the end of session. Now would be a good time to use your fate points.
Yeah, no.
Come
Two
on,
things just
buddy.
passed Krill's mind. Just went, Karen touched me. Oh no. Why is this doing? Doesn't matter. Stop thinking about that, brain. And the other one is, I know this shit. I know this shit. Well, I'm going to take a +2 with Hands of Creation and Destruction.
The servo that controls the lock itself engages, and you hear a whir and a tick as the latch lets go.
She quickly undoes those wires, puts them back where they originally were, and gently puts the panel back on, using the back of her multi-tool to press it, clicking back in place.
Okay.
All right.
After you all,
Patty opens the door. She's seeing if there's anybody directly in the line of sight of the door before heading inside. So I'm gonna make
You
that roll.
you stick your head in. I'm assuming
Mhm.
that's right. All right. So you stick your head in, and you find yourself in a quintessential stairwell for a building. It's concrete. It's it's just how it works. There is a door straight ahead of you. There's a door off to your right. There's a door straight ahead of you. There's a door off to your left down the hallway, and right by that is a stairwell leading up.
She turns her head to Ethan, and she says, "You're the one who wants to do this. You got any idea of which way to go?"
Management's always on the upper floors.
Right. Patty starts going ahead. She's going to get a little bit of distance ahead of them so she can see anybody coming before they meet the rest of the group. She's very much got her pistol pulled out in this moment. Just taser, not pistol.
Patty?
Hmm?
Can you actually wait by the front, or by the entrance we came in, so we have
Sure.
somebody watching the outside?
All right. Can do. And she quickly makes her way back down. If you need anything, ping me. Okay. And Patty sits off to the
sorry,
corner where she can probably get the best view of the doors, and then also be able to get a view of the stairwell so when it starts coming through. And if somebody probably hits the employee door, she won't be immediately noticed.
Krill triple checks that there's nothing seeing her. She's got no direct views of any person or anyone.
The stairwell has no windows. It is just concrete column sort of stuff.
I'm going to count that as visual cover then, and I'm going to do silent deployment as Sugar lifts off of Krill's shoulder, and with her engines quiet as a mouse, starts going up higher.
Okay. There's It leads up to a second floor landing. There's a door, and then there's stairs that go up, and you see the words fire exit and a push bar on a door on the top.
Is there any window in the second floor door?
No.
No. Okay. Stairwell's clear.
To the second story we go.
Patty sends a message. Do you want me to stay here or follow after?
Keep an eye on the outside.
Okay. Patty just waits. Just keeping an eye on the outside, preparing for anybody who comes through.
We move up to the second floor, open up the second floor door.
Is it locked or unlocked?
It's unlocked.
Try it.
Yeah.
Okay. I assume from the employee side it would be unlocked. I just wanted to triple check. Okay.
Real
Troy,
quick, I was actually going to say, can Troy, since Troy has basically built up a 3D diagram now using a bunch of different camera angles, can he transmit basically a reconstructed map to them, or would that compromise what he's doing right?
Give me a roll.
All right.
Use that new crafting.
That's a fool. Fate point reroll.
I'd say that didn't work.
Is it
It's a 0 now.
a -4?
We haven't seen a -4 in a while.
Been a minute.
I think the last one was still me.
Uh-huh.
It was a crafting check, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't Krill. I think it was one of Troy's crafting checks.
I broke your gun.
You did
okay.
break my fucking gun. You broke my table.
So with a +4, given your demonstrated mastery over what is occurring at present, I will say that you can transmit a digital floor plan as well as you can reconstruct it to anybody's codices that are capable of receiving.
He sends one to Krill and Karen, since they are the two active ones, and Patty is currently just on lookout.
All right.
Okay.
All right, from the maps listed, main offices should be this way.
Ethan is just following behind. He is at the back of the group. Sort of, if you notice, he's sort of up against the wall and sort of sliding unnecessarily.
And notably, Sugar is watching his 6. Like, as he's moving forwards, the drone is watching behind him. Do we find our way to the main offices?
Yeah. You walk in, it's as you walk in, you very quickly see that what you're dealing with is you sort of come out of the stairs and it's a large sort of Oklahoma-esque shape that this area takes up, and they've put 3 offices over here on the left-hand side, and over there on the panhandle basically is the executive's office, right? So you've got an assistant's desk immediately to your right, sort of barring the entry to the door of the executive office, and it's a rectangle with some shit sticking off of it.
Okay.
Think L-shaped.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll help you. So towards, like, straight ahead of you is this sort of just this, we added an office sort of thing, and then there's another office, and then there's an office set aside from it. So basically the back wall is 2 offices, and then the left-hand side, they've just sort of stacked another office there. And then all of that over there is just 1 executive office.
Okay. Well, the executive office is clearly what we need.
If you walk around, the first one on your left, as you walk into this sort of area, is the director of accounting. In the back corner is the business manager, and then just straight ahead of you is the director of logistics. And then over on your right, you see CEO/president.
Okay. We need to get into that CEO room at some point.
CEO first, if we can. It'd be the one with the most likely place for what we need.
That or accounting.
Yeah.
Okay. And Krill just kind of gently turns to Ethan. Nothing should look like it's been moved if we can help it. Do you agree?
I will try. Do you want me to look through things?
We thought you were following along to be a helpful hand on that one.
Okay, well...
You would know the keywords we're looking for.
You seem to be better at, like, memorizing things, so how about you remember the order that they were in, and I will look through them, and then between the two of us, you cover my ass, and I'll just try and get the job done.
Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything. Yeah, just don't. That'd be better. Not unless you can typey type. Do you do the hacky stuff?
I have skills. I learn things. It's not my first day as an investigative journalist, you know. It is my
even Krill's
not my first day breaking and entering. I have been on a couple before, but I tend not to either way.
All right. Krill goes over to the seat.
If you want to hack into a computer to look for some of these things, that could be helpful.
Well, if somebody can get me past the security, searching file system is something I'm very good at.
There we go. I will actually say that is a handy tool in a moment like this. I am okay with utilizing him as long as you are, Karen. I think he is an asset.
As long as we get the information he knows too, we'll be good.
Understood. All right.
And Karen said that staring straight at Ethan.
You think I'm gonna, and as Krill's talking, you think I'm gonna and her helmet with the 6 eyes unfolds. You think I'm going to take my eyes off him?
Still.
Krill goes up to the CE office door and gives it a deep scan to double check that there's not redundant system securities in there that she can't openly see with her eyes.
It's a door.
Hey,
it's a pretty fancy.
Rather be safer than.
It's a pretty fancy one.
No lock, no key lock, even.
No.
To remind Mr. Bayat that he should be a little bit more paranoid than he actually is, as Krill gently opens the door, continuing her scans as it swings open. Excuse me.
Bless you.
My sneezes are rather explosive.
Where the camera's covered, is he able to sense, like, potential sensors, security systems that are secondary to the cameras?
Give me a disadvantaged roll.
Oh, here we go. First one is a +1. The next one is a negative one, so I have to take the negative one.
You can.
I can sense that there's secondary systems in there, but I don't. So, Troy sends a text to Krill and states, I am able to sense that there may potentially be secondary sensory or security systems present in that room. Of their nature, location, and type, I cannot state.
All right. Thank you, Trey. As I said, Krill is being extra paranoid about this. She's scanned the door and the door frame and everything around it. We didn't see anything there. She starts now scanning the floor to see if there's any infrared lasers going between them.
Give me a roll.
It's a 0 on the die.
To the best of your knowledge, there are none.
Fuck you, I hate that phrasing. That's a +3 total, so...
Yeah. Yeah. To the best of your knowledge, there are none.
Karen, do you have a cigarette?
No?
Got a vape?
No.
Ethan, you look jittery enough. Do you have a cigarette and or vape on you?
He should.
Oh, no, I don't smoke. I quit last week.
Well, good for you.
Are you one of those people who quits every week?
Forget the month.
Do you have your emergency ones on you then when you decide you're not quitting anymore?
Nope, other jacket.
Worth a shot. So I'm not burning some paper and the risk of fire suppression going off here.
Wouldn't your special eyes see it anyway?
They should, but there are always tiers of level that I can't see.
Tears.
Well, the door frame seems to be fine at least.
Troy, do you have any other... Are there other devices like that in the other rooms?
I can attempt another network scan, but keeping control of the cameras is taxing my processes.
Rather you focus on that than anything else.
Let's just move on with a different room. We'll see what we can find. If we can, we'll come back to this one.
Sounds perfect.
Close the door.
She gently closes the door.
Let's go to the business manager's room.
Okay.
Krill, darling.
Okay. First thing first. How many computers are in this room? Just the one?
Oh, have we walked into it, or we just...
Oh, okay. Krill's gonna scan the door frame. I don't know why I imagine like offices where they don't actually have doors. It's one of those like, you've got walls, you don't have doors per se. Okay. Krill's gonna do a deep scan. Sorry. Gonna do a deep scan on this door and any of the surrounding wall to see if there's anything lining into it like a security system.
Okay, give me a roll.
+1 on the die. For a total of 4.
It's a door.
She's scanning the wall around it too.
How far
Are you
out?
sure there's no... A pretty decent range, probably like 3 or 4 feet on every direction past it.
There, you do locate a sensor.
Wait, you didn't even make me roll for the other door.
So,
You just said nothing.
yeah.
Okay. Focusing in on the sensor, I'm going to try and understand what I'm working with. Do I have an idea of what sort of sensor this is?
Yeah, it's an infrared sensor.
Okay.
It's an infrared sensor. I know what this is. I don't know if I can say it. I'm not going to say it. I know
No.
what this is, though.
Yeah. Yeah, keep that meta to yourself.
Oh, I am. It's
Yeah.
just hilarious.
Yeah.
How close to the door is the sensor?
Oh, about 8 inches.
Motherfucker. Troy, can you tell if there's if we have already triggered a security breach?
I think I just figured it out what it is too.
It's either there's an infrared tripwire for when the door opens, or there's a fucking TV with a remote in there and it's just fucking with my systems. But no, I'm assuming more. There's a... No.
Yeah, keep that meta to yourself, motherfucker.
Troy is going to, now that he's aware that there is an infrared sensor of some kind to look for, Troy is going to scan the network for infrared sensors.
Give me a disadvantaged roll.
Here we go. -2. Oh. +2.
So there are no infrared sensors connected to the network.
I know. Oh, I knew.
Yeah.
There does not seem to be any sensors I could detect connected to the network.
What? Out of character. This is clearly some sort of just benign object that people have, and I'm very much so just falling short on what this is. It's like a fucking... Oh my god. Is this an automatic light detect, like, movement light switch?
That's meta, we can't tell you.
No, at this point even Krill would be like... She just waves her hand in front of it.
The light in the room turns on.
It took me a second, too.
1.5 seconds, 2 seconds for me.
Well, you're a fucking engineer. You've probably installed
I
it.
put them in my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
About 8 inches from the door frame. Just a light switch.
Fucking automatic light switch.
Doors, man.
See? You were getting better at doors. So I implemented plan B, light switches.
It's okay, Karina. See, here's the thing. I didn't know until they told me. All right, I literally figured out when you said it.
It's just the answer is just beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it how when
technologically oriented people got it.
you saw me literally working it out in my head actively. I'm like, it's a fucking light switch.
I just immediately thought, infrared sensor in an office building. Oh.
Power saver.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
All right, back to the mission.
So the lights turn on.
I take it that means we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, Krill does one
Um,
more deep scan of the room itself.
Krill, I would like you to take 2 mental stress. Yeah. Yeah, that feels appropriate. Karina, feel free to take like 5 or 6, but Krill.
Oh, I've taken plenty
Yeah,
psychic damage.
This is a minor consequence.
Yeah, Krill, go ahead and take 2 mental stress on that one.
Oh, wait a second.
So.
Wait a second.
Emotional damage.
We let's not forget, we wrote a mentally unstable character. You gave her very specifically, I am taking a mental consequence for this.
Yeah, well, good luck with it.
What do I fucking write in there?
Overthink.
Let's start looking for things.
Yeah, the important thing.
It was just a light switch. It was just a light switch.
Better safe than sorry, right?
20
minutes later. All right. Are you gonna poke Krill?
So who's going in? How's this working?
Krill is going in. Softly stepping. She's making her way around to the other side of the desk.
So, Karen, are you entering as well?
Yes.
Okay. So, give me simultaneous rolls, please.
-2.
-2 as well.
Good job, kids. Krill?
We did great up until now.
Krill. You see as you walk in, Karen, I don't know what you're looking at, but you're not looking at this.
Krill, inside of my eyelids.
Yeah, Krill. When you walk in, you notice that the desk has a nameplate on it. It's got the typical like employee nameplate, and it says Sabine Keller.
We have dealt with her before.
In the CEO office?
No, they've moved on.
This is the we're just in the high-end office section.
Yeah, they've moved on to the business managers.
Okay.
Sabine was one of the people I was told by the kids that they were talking to Gavin, and she seemed very upset. Something about divesting because of partners, and seemed really mad when she mentioned partners.
We need personal email and import-export. She'll have those.
Okay.
Now then.
Aaron starts shuffling through the goes to look in the desk for papers, physical papers.
Ethan joins Karen in doing that. And would you prefer, which way would you like to do this? Would you like an assist, or would you like to assist Ethan?
Assist Ethan. Because that's Karen's style.
Not an investigation.
That's a 6.
This is what's it like having to have 5 people on the team.
So, Ethan starts shuffling through the desk papers. Karen pulls out folders, right? Karen starts just pulling stuff out, and Ethan just immediately starts like flipping through them. And what he finds, he's going through a bunch of this stuff, and he stops on a page, and he looks at it, and he goes, "Somebody take a picture of this."
Krill has one of her 6 eyes always watching on them. She's like, I already have. What are we looking at?
An invoice that was sent, an invoice that was paid to North Sea Holding. So North Sea Holding billed A to B for receipt of goods. And this is an invoice paying them out.
Why would a transport company be paying for goods when they're usually receiving payment for delivering goods?
Yeah, that's an interesting direction of cash flow.
Mm-hmm. Any personal notebook, any potentially password journal hiding somewhere in there?
No.
Fair enough. She may not be sloppy, but someone might be. We'll see. Now the computer. And there's just this look of like, fuck, this is not my strong suit. Whew. Krell takes the cable out the back of her neck, plugs it into it. Hope you're
Give me
you
a
have
roll.
a good time with your friend. That's a -1. I think my hack is 1. Or is my hack 2?
I believe it's
My hack is 1, so that's a 0 on the die.
Krill hits a password screen and just goes password. Incorrect.
I could try QWERTY, but I have a feeling that's also not going to work. Been doing a lot of thinking like Karen. How do I think like fucking Troy in this moment? I don't have hacking tools to just whip out. I don't have a code cracker on me. Taking a deep breath and remembering this is what her body's technically made for. She tries to force open the password screen like a mechanism, pulling all of its pieces apart. And re-visualizing this as more of like a circuit board, something she can manipulate. She takes a second chance and tries to see if she can rewire this so that it generates its own proper password.
Give me a roll.
+2 on the die, so a total of +3.
Krill relaxes and does the mental equivalent of laying her head onto the keyboard and just sort of lucks out. There was no particular amount of skill that actually happened here. It was more pure just, well, maybe this'll work. And through sheer dumb luck, it worked. The system unlocks, and what you find is a very clean system. There are standard emails in and out from suppliers. There's nothing personal on this machine.
But there's still the email system, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Checking outgoing emails to Gavin.
There's the typical sort of like, need your signature on this, need this for review, that sort of thing. Nothing stands out particularly.
Next, she checks for security as a keyword.
Security does not pop anything for you.
Searches admin as a keyword.
You find admin over and over again, but just because it's a root word of administration, and there's a lot of just administrative stuff that's going on here. Yeah.
I was hoping for a update to the admin system or anything that would give us an easier means of getting in. I'm not going to be able to hack into all these other computers with fucking luck. That's not going to work. All right.
Karen, I'll prompt Karen. Karen, is there anything that you want her to search for?
Remember the one I was pointing at there, Krill? That one business?
Yeah. No, she looks the I forgot to write the business down. But the financial holdings company we're looking for. Anything in relation to that?
Global Nexus Holdings. There's an email from Sabine to Gavin reminding him that the board vote needs to be done for GNH next week.
Krill takes a deep photo of it. Board vote next week. What is the date on this compared to today?
2 days ago.
Okay.
There's no date on what day it is occurring. It is just a contextual reminder of next week.
Mm-hmm. And today is Friday. So we can at least assume it's not a thing until the very minimum Monday. All right.
Ethan says, search for North Sea.
She searches for North Sea.
What are you searching? Her email? Files?
Right now we're in the email system, but she can absolutely go into the file system looking for documents and import and export. Honestly, with this body, she should be able to look at it all pretty easily, even if this isn't her home world.
A calendar event pops up, and Sabine has a meeting with the manager of North Sea on Monday.
We have a confirmed connection with North Sea. There is going to be a management meeting on Monday. Huh. Okay. Any other companies we want to check while I'm in here? Ethan?
You're muted, Aspen.
What were the names of the two friends that Gavin met with again?
Jackson, Saphira.
Jackson and Zafira.
Saphira. Search for Zephyr Real Estate.
Krill does just that.
Give me a roll.
Alrighty.
You're searching that system, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that plus my investigation?
It is.
That's a total of 5.
Nothing comes up.
Can I check the emails next?
You just search that entire system.
Gotcha. Nothing on that. Keyword Zafira. Is anything separated to it, maybe?
Ethan looks at Karen and goes, "Who's that?"
One of the people that meets with Gavin at Cetabello.
Give me your codex.
Why?
I want to look for something.
Karen looks over at Krill. Hands it to Gavin, or Ethan.
Grill is inside her system, just hovering over the self-destruct. It won't like explode, but just
He pulls up a browser and immediately hits a web search for Jackson. Did you say Van Cleef?
Yes. No, I didn't, but
Okay.
yeah, it is him.
He searches for Jackson and Zafira, and he finds the art gallery, and then he finds Zafira Van Cleef, and he searches for Jackson Van Cleef, and he finds Jackson Van Cleef, and Jackson Van Cleef is a risk management specialist for Helios Investments.
Krill immediately starts looking up Helios investments. Shall I roll?
Ethan, upon discovering this, looks at Karen and says, "Now we have a connection between Gavin and Helios." He hands you back your codex.
Did Krill find anything in the system on Helios?
No.
That was a well-considered no.
So Ethan then looks at Karen and says, "Okay, so," and he's completely just fucking. We now know that Gavin controls in some capacity A to B. A to B and Helios are friends. Because Gavin and Jackson are friends. And we know that A to B, or Gavin, serves possibly on the board of G&H. Because, or he's being made aware of a board vote, which means he has some sort of influence or impact on it.
Or an impact on him.
So Gavin has to be concerned about a G&H board vote for some reason. And Gavin and Jackson are friends, and A to B and Helios are involved in some sort of business together. We need to know North Sea and how they fit into this puzzle. And Sabine is our key to North Sea.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might be done.
Krill. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
He just goes, I think we might be done here.
Krill hands Karen the codex from her clutch. You have any means of getting this into his hands?
I think we might leave this in Sabine's hands instead.
If she is disgruntled or betrayed by these dealings, she may be an insider.
Can we remotely connect this codex?
Define remotely connect. It
Like
is a
on
one-to-one.
Monday, if I left it here, could we turn it on and hear what's going on in this room?
Take just a little bit internal rewiring. I am able to remotely turn on any codex I create. So, yes, if that's what you're asking.
Two options. Leave the codex to listen. The other, leave the codex to talk to Sabine, to get Sabine to actually help us directly.
I'm leaning more option 2, as option 1 has no guarantee the meeting is here.
Yes. Thinking that as well. Okay. Sabine is less likely to be watched as closely as Gavin, so I'm less worried about leaving it in here. Cool. Do we have any way to tape it underneath her desk?
I mean, there's literally, Ethan just speaks up. He's like,
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
There's tape right there.
Oh, look at that. How convenient. Let's leave her a little note.
Krill logs out of every system properly, leaving nothing open, closing every window, making sure everything logged out, safe, and then turns the system off.
Karen takes a piece of paper. Guessing from a printer that still exists?
There's various paper that you can pull from. No worries.
Okay.
There's actually a good reason why offices keep physical paper, even though they all have computer documentation. It genuinely is good in case shit gets mucked up, or someone's deleted it. You still have physical proof.
We need to talk. This is secure. Dash a friend. Of Gavin's. We'll tape that under the desk. Sticky notes. The almighty sticky note.
Krill, using her, since she has been recording every little bit of this moment, goes back into the footage to see how the the drawers looked internally. Make sure every little pen and paperclip is laying about where it was before. Making sure nothing looks like it's been tampered with. Putting those files back in the cabinet if one was folded in a corner, making sure that corner's up.
Okay.
Gently puts it all back. Let's go.
Yeah. I can't think of anything else to do while we're here.
Counting
Quick
my
poke into
penalty.
Gavin's office just while we're here to see, or do we risk it?
Everything we attempt is a bigger risk of us not getting out here cleanly.
Good point.
We got a lot out of the management. Accounting would be the only other place I feel like we need to, and even then, I'm now precarious about how long we are here.
Patty
We've been
just a message just pops up from Patty. How much longer?
We're heading back down. We got all that we feel safe to collect.
Okay.
Karen is distinctly behind Ethan, waiting for him to go first.
Ethan goes, following Krill.
Krill is going first. Stepping lightly, and letting her drone look ahead down hallways to make sure there's not some fucking meatheads waiting for us along the way.
Nope, you're clear.
To the stairwell.
Only meathead you see is Patty.
Yeah, as the door opens, Patty literally slips under so she can get a view of who's coming through before they see her. And she sends a message that you
That's us.
slips out. Alright. We getting out of here?
Yes, I believe this was a successful reconnaissance. More data could easily have been collected, but also we have pushed our luck.
Alright.
That is
She
my
sends
takeaway.
She sends a message to Troy. We're getting ready to leave. Give us some space before we exit. And then she says, good job, dude. You did fucking great.
I'm
I would
currently
like to
monitoring your
second that
comms.
one.
I'm well aware you were leaving.
Just confirming.
No, but you should be well aware of how thankful and impressed we are with your efforts tonight.
Alright. So they all get to the door of the employee entrance. She's like, give me 2 seconds. Gonna check the space out and then follow behind me when you hear the all clear. And she opens the door, heads out. First pokes her head out, sees if there anyone around. Anyone around?
You good?
Okay. And she walks a little farther in, just keeping another eye, and she says, we're good. And then she puts her taser away and just starts casually walking, trying not to seem suspicious in this moment, and just starts walking and she looks back over her shoulder to Ethan. We going back adjacent, or are we just going a different direction?
There
Do it
is
different.
another train station not too far west of us. I say we walk there and get on the train from there, and we can go our separate ways pretty naturally from there on.
Sound like a plan.
All right, start making their way. Patty naturally follows behind again as they're making the way to the train station. She's watching anybody who's following them behind. She's trying to see. She's gonna make a roll for that. Do I need to?
Yes, you do. And as you're walking, Ethan
-2.
slows down a bit to sort of drag Karen back a little, just by a few steps. Just pulling Karen back.
Can Patty try and over here, but not get too close? She was trying to hold up the rear, but since they're trying to get behind her, I think.
Mhm. Yep.
Trix, go
Patty-
collect your iBots. Sorry, go ahead.
Patty's gonna listen in, but try not to look like it.
Ethan just sort of leans over a little bit and goes, "My place, 2:00 tomorrow afternoon. Knock 3 times."
Can do.
Jesus.
You make your way towards the train
And-
station.
Patty sends the message to Troy. We're out. Free it. Let it go.
All right. Just with like a motion of his hands, we see this like giant digital hologram hovering over the building that only anything that was had access to the hardware layer would ever really be able to see. And Troy instantly closes all the connections he had with the cameras.
There's a bit of a blip as certain things in the warehouse snap. We watch as the camera feeds resume their cycle. We watch as the group approaches a train terminal and all board, all separate out. Some people head left, some people head right. Some people take trains that are headed east, some people take trains that are headed west. And we watch as the doors close and our group fades into the night.